I was so shocked today. Who would have thought that when I arrived home, you'd be there, Mabel? And you brought your husband along too? Oh, when did you even get married in the first place? I never heard anything about your marriage or a wedding from anyone. I didn't want you to find out, so I made sure not to tell you about it. Yet on the same day that I was coming home, you decided to show up as well. Today was really not my day, was it? I actually ended up getting fired from my job, and things were getting really tight for me. So I decided to come back home to try and get a couple grand from Mom and Dad. But instead, I came home to you, Mabel, who's finally gotten remarried after 10 years. I understand that you're having a really bad day, but to me, this is the best day ever. You were fired from yet another job? I have heard a little from Mom about you, and it sounds like you really can't keep a job, can you? I really wonder why that is. But I can already tell that unlike me, your husband is a real keeper. To think that the second man you married would be working at that huge company. Oh, I am so jealous of you for having a husband with a great income. Don't you dare touch him, Jackie. If you do a thing to him, I will not let you get away with it. Ooh, how scary. You don't have to be so frightening, all right? I haven't forgotten about your criminal record, all right? Do you understand? The fact that you and I had to run into each other today was just a terrible coincidence. I have no plans of getting back together with you as a sister, so don't bother with me anymore. If you understand that point as well, then don't you ever talk to me again.
Hey, Mabel, I've just been thinking about this, but how about you and your little sister begin to make up?
What?
Well, it's just that yesterday was my first time meeting her, and she seems like a really good kid. You were always telling me about how you cut ties to her after high school, so I was left wondering what she had done that was so bad. And well, okay, yesterday I found out that she's not some sort of a schoolyard bully or anything, but a rather attractive little lady. It's a bit sad that you'd waste the opportunity of having a cute little sister like that by cutting ties to her.
I thought I remember telling you the reasons why I cut ties to her, right? Back in high school, that little jerk went and stole her own sister's boyfriend from her.
But that was all the way back in high school, right? Back in those days, there wasn't anything deep between couples anyway. How about you just be a little more open to that fact and move on?
Why should the one who had to be hurt and made the victim be the one to forgive what happened in their past? That jerk was intentional about hurting me when she stole my boyfriend. Ever since elementary school, I had a crush on that guy, and by the time high school came around, I had finally started dating him. But then she came up from behind and stabbed me in the back, knowing dang well that I was deeply in love with him.
I get that that's bad, but you're both adults now, right? Just wash away all your past and return to being close sisters again, alright? Right now you're just making yourself look bad, like you're the sour-faced older sister who is jealous of her younger and better-looking sister.
Huh?
You're a bit narrow-minded, Mabel. You're really going to hold something against such a cute and petite little girl all your life. If she was that same way back in high school, then well, there's no helping your ex from taking his eyes off you for her. No matter how old a man gets, he will always fall victim to those cute girls. You can't blame those girls either, because it's just natural that the man will be attracted to them. So would you please stop bullying your sister by cutting ties to her all the time?
You only met her once today for a few minutes, and you're already hopping on her side? Which is strange, because up until now, you've never made a comment about what happened back then.
Because what you've done to her is so heartbreaking. Men do not like to watch cute little girls being hurt.
You actually feel bad for her?
Well, she said she was fired from her job, right? I'm sure the reason for that was because she's so good looking that everyone in the office was jealous of her. They probably all started to force her to make mistakes, and that led to her boss firing her in the end, right? All she's done is be so freaking cute, and now she's had to endure her sister cutting ties to her and her company firing her for it. I'm sorry, but nobody can just watch her struggle with that and not want to help her out.
Please don't start falling for those kinds of lame excuses. The reason she was fired is completely opposite of what you're thinking right now.
What? The complete opposite?
She wasn't being forced to make any mistakes. She was the one going around and making others screw up. Then when her higher-ups finally found out about that, they started to prepare her termination. This has been happening with her for a long time now. where she'll be fired from one company for that reason, join another company, and then not too long after be fired from there for the exact same reason.
What? You're joking, right?
She thinks that just because she's cute, she can do whatever she wants, anywhere she wants. That's why for the longest time now, she's always used that as her reasoning for making everyone else do her work for her. And I'll tell you that all her coworkers were not a fan of that. That's why they would always end up leaking what she was doing to their bosses and get her fired not too long after.
What? No. No. I'm not going to believe any of that. There's no reason such a cute little girl would do that. I don't care how cute your little sister is. You cannot start getting that jealous of her.
Excuse me?
I get that you're upset with her and hold a lot of things against her, but you can't just start telling lies about her because of that. I believe what Jackie has told me.
You really seem to be getting close to her, which is unimaginable considering you only saw her for 2 minutes. Don't start telling me that you're falling in love with a woman like her now, right?
I would never fall in love with her, but it's just that I'm her brother-in-law, so I'm just a bit worried about her. I was an only child all my life, and I was always wishing for a younger sister.
I never knew you had that kind of a wish. First time I'm hearing of it.
There's also this. Jackie just happens to have something about her. Not only is she really cute, but something about her makes me want to protect her. Also, she's had to go through so much trouble all her life, just because she's so freaking cute. That's why you and I need to understand that a little and give her a break.
I don't want to understand the reasons for why she stole my boyfriend from me back in high school. Not even a little. I will never forgive her for what she did to me. I understand you wanting to have a place in all this as my husband, but you should stay out of this mess. I'm so sorry, Mabel. I've gone and done it again. What? I've gone and stolen Cedric from you this time. I'm going to take that very successful office man from you now. Excuse me? And Cedric was so easy to win over. I was thinking that because of his line of work and how high he's gotten in that company, he'd be really hard to sway. But the moment I started to show just a hint of interest in him, he collapsed right into my arms. There's no way this could just happen so easily for me again. I suppose I haven't changed a bit from the heart-stopping little cutie from back in high school. Wait a second. Did you really lay a hand on Cedric now? A month ago, we all ran into one another at Mom and Dad's house, right? After that had happened, I invited him out to eat and he came right to me. And then, right after we had that dinner and a couple of dates, I became pregnant with his baby. Huh? I never thought things would happen this quickly for me. That must mean he and I were always meant to be, right? You're joking about getting pregnant, right? Are you really saying something like that right now? I would never lie about something so beautiful. But of course, someone like you probably doesn't want to believe any of it, right? Once again, your little sister has stolen your man. Hey, how are you feeling right now? How does it feel having your husband taken from you this time? I'm not here to play games with you anymore, Jackie. The fact that you got away with it once was already humiliating for me, but now you've done it again. And this just happened after years of knowing just how much I've hated you to the point I've cut ties to you. Yet you've come back again and stolen my husband this time. Honestly, what kind of frickin' nerve do you have? What? What do you mean, what kind of nerve do I have? My nerves are normal. I just wanted something of yours, so I went and took it. I'm sorry that it was just so easy for me to take your husband from you this time. Being as cute as I am really is such a useful life hack. Huh? By the way, I said this back in high school. Men are all weak towards cute women. I had all the men from my grade and those above mine flocking around me every single day. So you can just shut up and let me have all your men, all right? It's a waste of time crying and getting all upset about something that's going to always be happening in this world. I knew that I'd have to start getting pissed off again with you. Oh no! Just be honest and tell me how much of a sore loser you really are. Not my fault that you're not as cute as me. Huh? I hope this baby in my belly is just as cute as Cedric and I are. I'm sure they will be, though. Oh, I just can't wait to see what they look like, though. Oh, here's another thing. Now that I have Cedric's baby, you need to hurry up and get that divorce from him pronto. That's kind of why I started texting you today. You want me to divorce him now? Yep. Because Cedric and I are becoming a real family over here now, so we have no time to waste waiting for you. Cedric has to start getting ready to be a dad, so we can't have you getting in our way. This baby isn't going to wait, and I need my brother-in-law to become my husband. I'm single now, though. What? So please, be my guest and get married to him. I have nothing to do with him, so I won't say anything at all. Huh? What are you going on about right now? You and Cedric are married, right? So what's this about you saying that you're single now? I am not married to Cedric right now. To put it all into correct terms, I was just about to marry him. We were both planning on handing in the marriage papers on our anniversary, so we hadn't actually done anything yet. What? Is that right? Did you not hear anything about this from Cedric or Mom? We had planned on handing in the papers this spring, but went and held off doing so. We've both been busy with things like our job and transfers and all that. Hence why we haven't done anything at the courthouse. And, well, after some time had gone by, we realized we still hadn't done anything. So we decided it would be best to just wait for our anniversary to come around and go to the courthouse then. It would be really romantic for us and make us feel even closer to one another. I never heard about any of that. So wait, then this means you and Cedric are still engaged? Were, but we've now broken up and are nothing to one another. Just ex-boyfriend and ex-girlfriend now. What? Not only did you both not hand in the papers yet, but you've broken up now? That's right. Just a week ago, all that went down. Seeing Cedric falling head over heels for you really made me think twice about him. At the time, we were only just engaged to one another still, yet he was going on and on and on about how you and I should stop fighting and make up. It was getting so annoying to the point where I couldn't even handle being around him anymore. So after a few weeks of that, I said I didn't want to live with him anymore and that we were through. So then, Cedric was fine with all of that as well? I thought it was a little strange that he didn't try and get me to stay and was totally okay with us breaking up. But I guess that was around the same time he'd begun seeing you outside the house, right? So he didn't say a single thing when I told him we were through, and that was the end of us. What the heck? I never knew that you became single again. How lame. I was all excited about telling you how I'd gone and taken another one of your men from you, but there was no point to all of it. I was so looking forward to you breaking down and crying again over it. Well, that's too bad, you jackass. I don't love that man anymore, so none of this bothers me a single bit. Oh, is that so? Well, at least in my case, things are still golden. So who cares about you now? I'll be able to marry him right away now, and there will be no settlement. I'm going to go talk with Cedric right now and get this marriage going. Hold on a second. What was that about no settlement? What? You just said that you're not married to Cedric or anything, right? You never went and legally married him, so you were just boyfriend and girlfriend, right? So what I ended up doing with him was not cheating. He was never married to you, so you can't get any kind of money from us. You may have a really cute face and all, but that head of yours is filled with nothing but air. Or could it just be all that makeup and concealer in there clogging things up for you? Huh? Yes, we were not married to one another, but he and I were engaged at the time and had made plans for a wedding and such. Everything was set up for us, so he and I were very much on the verge of being married. And during a time like that, you went in and played with him a bit, therefore giving me enough of a chance at getting a settlement from you that I'm taking it. Even if it wasn't legal, there was a lot of money already put into things like the wedding and housing that I can still get a lawyer and take you to court. Are you for real? Had you just waited to hear from me that we'd broken up before going after him, things would have been all right for you. But you just came to me bragging about how you're carrying his baby and everything, giving me some very good evidence. There's no other way to describe you other than a brainless buffoon. And when it comes to being pregnant, you usually don't find that out until a few weeks have passed, right? 3 or 4 weeks to be exact. It was only a week ago that he and I broke up, so that pretty much seals your fate alongside his. Thank you so much again for telling me about that living evidence that you have sitting in your belly. No way! Now I'll make sure that in a little while, I get as much money from you both as I can. I have to get to talking with my lawyer now, so I'll be seeing you.
You're a real bitch for wanting to get this settlement from us now. Look, I get that I made a mistake by cheating on you before we broke up, but inside that belly of Jackie's is my baby. From here on, her and I are going to have a household together, and things are going to cost a lot of money. You were a complete bitch for getting a settlement from us right before that's supposed to happen.
If I'm a bitch for doing this, then I wonder what word would describe the both of you. Not only has it been done once, but twice now by that completely off-putting little jerk. And you helped make that happen, right before the both of us were supposed to get married and everything. From my point of view, the only word that can be used to describe you both is something I can't be typing right now.
I told you that we messed up, all right? But you can't stop what is destined to happen, right? You should be able to forgive us for this.
Huh?
You're not a high schooler anymore. You're old enough now to understand what love truly is. So please don't start ruining our lives over something that can't be controlled.
And that's why as an adult who very much understands things like love, I have to stay calm and get this settlement from you. If I were my high school self still, something like this could not happen. I wouldn't be able to keep this kind of composure, and that might land me in jail at some point.
I'm not talking about that, though. Would you please stop bullying us already? Can't you see that really soon here I'll become your brother-in-law after marrying your sister? I get that you and I broke up, but we're still going to be a family, so don't get that upset with us.
Whoever said I was going to become your family? I've already had ties pretty well cut to Jackie all this time, and considering you're going to marry her now, I'm cutting ties to you too. I don't want you to be my family.
You really think it's okay to say something so heartless? If you keep that attitude up, I'm not going to let Jackie show you her baby once she's given birth to it. I don't care if by that point you start to plead that you're the aunt. I will not let you see any of us.
I don't want to meet that baby, let alone see any pictures of it. To me, anything and anyone that has to do with Jackie is nothing to me.
Jesus Christ. You have no right saying something like that about your own little sister's baby. There's no way a kind human being could say things like that.
Honestly, you really are amazing, Cedric. That baby isn't even yours, yet you still sit there acting like you're going to be its blood-related father? I respect that. The fact that you care so much about another man's child like that, I never thought that you, Cedric, were so caring about other men's children.
Wait a sec. What do you mean other men's children? Right now Jackie is pregnant with my baby.
Oh? Could this mean that you're not all that caring for other men's kids, but rather you're still not aware of what's going on there? And I was just starting to respect you a little for that. I'll take that respect back and just call you a brainless loser instead.
Answer my damn question. What the hell does all of that mean?
How about you go and ask that cute Jackie of yours? That way things will be explained a lot faster. Why do you, of all people, know about this baby's real father? I haven't told anyone about this. I haven't even gone and told Mom and Dad about any of this, so how do you know the truth? I know you were trying your best to hide everything from everyone, but you left some very open holes. Even Mom and Dad were able to tell that you were lying to everyone, which is a bit of a shocker considering those two. What? After you went back home from Mom and Dad's house, Mom sent me a text. She told me that she saw in your bag a pregnancy test kit that had already been used. If you want to hide the truth, don't bring something like that over to Mom and Dad's house. You also went over to their house that day to get some money from them, right? You asked them both to lend you some money because you've been jobless for a few months and needed to pay off some debt. You started to cry in front of Dad, asking him for around $5,000, right? But Mom noticed something very interesting about the amount you wanted. A lot of the hospitals in this region have a surcharge of $5,000 to have you give birth in their hospital. That's just a simple coincidence, right? And that thing Mom thought was a pregnancy test was probably just something completely different. Recently, Mom has really started to show her age, right? And that's why Mom got in touch with me about it. She thought something was up with you, so she asked me to look into things a little. So I went and gave the company that fired you most recently a call and asked about what had happened. What? Because Mom was able to remember the company you'd been working for so well, looking things up was a piece of cake. And after getting in touch with them, they told me the exact reason for why they had to fire you. It had nothing to do with you being hated by any coworkers or due to you making tons of mistakes. You were fired for having a fight in the office. You'd been going out with one of your coworkers' boyfriends, and when they found out, you both got into a cat fight down in the office's lobby. And during that fight, you told your coworker not to hit your belly as there was an important little baby in there. Actually, from what the person on the phone said, you screamed that so loudly that most of the building heard. No freaking way! You found out about all of that? I didn't have to find anything out, really. The person on the other end of the phone went on and on about what happened that day. When I told them about how you had always been a pain in my ass back in high school, they felt for me and started to tell me all the horrible things you did there. No! But thank goodness Cedric was so open to taking on another man's child before it's even been born. It's not good at all! When he found out it's not his baby, he told me he didn't want to get married anymore. Even though he was saying how in love he was with me, he's going to abandon me now? Oh no. This is all because of you saying those unnecessary things to him. I'm going to make you responsible for all of this. If he's not going to become the father of this child anymore, then I'm going to make you take his place and pay child support for this baby. Don't be such a dumbass. This all happened because you are a little bitch and deserve it. If you want someone to take care of that baby, then how about you do it yourself? I'm not helping you with squat. Why are you being so harsh now? You had to just keep your mouth quiet and none of this would have happened to me. Your cute little sister is on the verge of becoming a single mother now. And not only that, but a single mother who's never been married. All you have to do is help me out a little here. Don't worry about that, Jackie. You have that cute little face that all men fall for, so I'm sure you'll find some man to take you in. And it's not like your baby is being hurt by any of this, right? So to make sure things stay that way, you step up and take responsibility for all the crap you've done to yourself. And just after all that, Jackie and Cedric broke up. From there, Jackie started to beg my parents to let her live with them so that she could have her baby in peace. But that's when they both told her that they couldn't be bothered with her anymore. And that's when both my mom and dad said to her that they wouldn't be helping out this time with either the baby or her financial situation. Jackie then went and started to call all the men she'd been playing around with before, but not a single one of them wanted anything to do with her. So as of right now, Jackie's had to move herself into a really small and cheap apartment, preparing herself for when the baby inevitably comes out. When things come to Cedric after the breakup, he went back to his parents' house. But after having already heard about what happened that led to him and I breaking up before our marriage, they were furious. So the moment he got onto the front steps of their house, his mother came out the front door with a golf club telling him to not take another step forward before saying he needed to get off their property. A little while after all that took place, Jackie gave birth to her baby. She then went and took the baby with her to where Cedric had been working and told him to look at the cute little thing that the both of them worked so hard to make. Because of this, a lot of his coworkers and higher-ups started to realize what had gone down, and rumors began to grow. Not too long after that, things really began to change for Cedric in the workplace as well. And who knows what'll happen next to him when he can no longer take the rumors and cold shoulders anymore.
Thank you for watching till the end. If you felt good about this video, like the video. If you didn't like it, let me know why in the comments. Subscribe too. Your likes and subs lead to our motivation. We have so many videos on our channel as well, so go ahead and take a look. See you in the next video.
Rebecca, where have you run off to? Mom and Dad have both been telling me you're ignoring all their calls and texts. Did you forget what day today is, Rebecca? Hey! Shut up! Do you have any idea what time it is? I want to sleep in some more. You know what time it is? It's almost noon now. And you have to go and meet with someone at 12 o'clock, right? I have to meet with someone? Oh, now that you mention it, I do remember something about meeting with someone. What do you mean you only just now remember something? What are you saying, Rebecca? You were the one that wanted us to set you up with someone who you could potentially date. So Mom and Dad have been doing all they can to find you someone who wouldn't mind meeting you, right? I was just on my way back home from my friend's wedding at the time and told everyone that I wanted to get married myself. That's all. And you're planning on getting married as well now too, so I just didn't want to be left out. That's it. But you kept on pestering Dad about setting you up with someone, so he went out of his way to get you a date with the son of one of his customers' CEOs, right? And about that, if I'm going to get married, I want it to be with someone who has loads of money. Which, that guy totally has, but have you seen the pictures of him? The pictures of the guy Dad set me up with? I did have a look at his picture once. You think I'm going to want to marry some fat guy like that? What? I want to be with someone who actually cares about his health and figure a bit more than that guy. You know I like my men thin and handsome, right? No matter how much money the guy has, if he's not good looking to me, then I don't want him. You don't want him? Did you ever tell Mom and Dad that then? Well, it's already too late to tell them now. Telling them both about this now would not change the fact that the plans were already made. Hold on a second, so you're not actually planning on going out to meet that guy today? That's right. And it's not like I want anything to do with him, and if I go there and he develops feelings for me, that'll be a huge pain in my neck. What are you talking about? You were the one asking over and over again to have Mom and Dad set you up with someone. And now that they've had a guy ready for you and everything, you're not going to tell them you don't want to see him anymore? No way that's okay, Rebecca. You should really tell Mom and Dad about this right now. I mean, this has to do with one of Dad's customers' sons. You understand that, right? All right, if I really have to go out and meet this guy, then why don't you go in my place and meet with him? I'm not playing around about this right now. I happen to be engaged right now, right? There's no way I'm going to go out and see another man who isn't my fiancé. It'll be fine. I happen to have your fiancé in my pocket anyway. What the heck is that supposed to mean? I might not want to go meet with that chubby guy, but that hasn't changed the fact that I want to get married. So I've made sure that I'll be the one getting married to your fiancé. What did you just say? That time you brought him over to meet your family, I've always thought he was really cute. I was always fine with the thought of having a good-looking brother-in-law would be nice, but I also thought his beauty would be wasted on you of all people. So I went and convinced him to give up on you and instead come and marry me. Without me ever noticing? But as far as I'm aware, my fiancé has never said anything to me yet about wanting to marry you now. Well, I was planning on moving in together today. The idea was when I started having all my things moved into that room with you guys, then you'd be able to pick up on what was happening between your fiancé and I. Huh? It would have been a pain for us if you found out about this before we set up all the plans, right? So that's why the plan is to have you moved out of that apartment and then I'll move in with him. Are you kidding me? I never heard anything about this from either of you, though. Well, that's why I told you it was being kept a secret between us. We wanted to make sure you wouldn't do anything about it until after I was already there with him. Have you guys really been talking about all of this behind my back this whole time? Yep. And that's why it's totally okay for you to go out and meet that guy Dad set up for me, since you no longer have a partner yourself. If anything, I'm being a really nice little sister by letting you go out with the man I was supposed to see today right after you lost your fiancé. Right? How the hell are you even remotely close to a nice little sister? You're not only asking me to go out with this man you cried for Mom and Dad to set you up with, but you're asking me that after telling me you've been going out with my fiancé this whole time and plan to live with him now. Don't get so mad about it. I'm going to make sure to become an amazing wife in your place for your fiancé, all right? Now you can go and be happy with that fat loser in my place. It'll be totally fine. He's a perfect match for someone like you. So now that I've told you about everything, let's both have a wonderful time with our partners. You hold it right there, Rebecca. I am not done with you yet, especially after all you've just said to me.
I'm sure you've already heard everything from Rebecca now, but it's just like she said. So you and I are no longer engaged, Angel.
What the hell is going on here, Luke? Do you have any idea what you're both are doing right now?
I had no choice, all right? I started to realize that she's a lot better for me than you are, and now I'm in love with her.
So when you proposed to me and said that you loved me, it was a lie?
The moment I saw that you had a younger and far cuter little sister, I thought it would be best to get closer to her. So that's why I proposed to you and had us get reservations at that expensive restaurant, in order to see her while meeting your parents.
I cannot believe you. You and I went through with getting a whole wedding ready for us. We've already handed out all the invitations and everything, so what the hell are we going to do about that?
I'd like for you to tell all those that you invited that the wedding is cancelled. I will talk with those that I went ahead and invited to the wedding. And as a way of showing that I'm sorry, I'll pay for our wedding to be cancelled.
You're acting like you're being so kind to me for doing that. What makes you think any of this is even remotely okay?
I told you, I had no other choice. I was asked to be your sister's boyfriend by her.
She was the one that asked you? Rebecca?
She had told me about how your family had been trying to get her set up with a man to marry, but he's not her type. After she showed me the picture of him, I totally agreed with her that he is an absolute cow. I could see that she was never going to find the man for herself. And then at one point while talking to me, she asked me out.
And when something like that happens, you being the man who is already in a relationship says no to her.
I don't think you understand how hard it is for me to say no to the one girl that I've been wanting to be with the most.
Do you have any idea why she was looking for a man in the first place? Because she said that she only wants to get married because I was planning to, and so have all her friends. Do you really think she's being serious with you right now?
Oh, you think I'm going to fall for something like that? I'm sure she was getting jealous of everyone else, but that doesn't mean her love for me is fake. I get that all of this is hard for you, since you just found out that I've dumped you for her. But don't start trying to get me all worried about the relationship I've been having with her. Rebecca is a whole lot more cute than you, Angel, and that's why I've left you. Now leave my love with her alone.
I'm done with this. I cannot figure out what actually drove you to do all of that, and I don't even want to anymore. I thought you were a better man than that, but I guess I was completely wrong. You actually went ahead and cheated on me while we've been engaged.
Well, if I'm such a terrible man, then after today, don't you ever come around Rebecca or I. I'm so sorry for doing this to you, but there was nothing that could be done about it.
I know now that the reason for us having to call our marriage off is due to you cheating on me, so I'm going to get a settlement. Once I've gotten the money from you that I deserve, that'll be the end of me ever being around you. I'll make sure that I never even have to believe that either of you exist anymore.
You're getting a settlement from me, so you have been wanting my money.
I want for the both of you to see that what you've done is completely wrong, and that's why I'll be getting a settlement from you.
Go right ahead then. I've looked it up, and the amount you could even get from me for doing something like this is barely anything.
That's right, it is barely anything. But this isn't about me wanting money from you, but rather to teach you both lessons.
Well then, I'll be sending you the amount you ask for later.
Just make sure you read all the paperwork over that I send you so that there are no mistakes. I'll be sending you those papers later. But from what I've heard is that you're going to be moving, so I can't mail anything to you yet.
We're not going to be moving for another year out of this apartment, so just send me the papers and we'll see if they bring them here still. I'm sure they will.
Well, then I'll go ahead and do that. I never thought that this would be how our relationship would ever end. But I guess it's all better to happen now than later on for me.
I'm sorry that our love life of being engaged to one another was so short-lived, and that we never got to get married. But I'm going to be much happier with your sister, so you can be glad about that. I hope you're just as happy with, well, whatever man comes across you next.
Angel, long time no see. Are you still having a good time living as a single woman? I'm still so sorry about stealing your fiancé from you right as you both were going to get married. And what do you want from me now? So I guess you never did end up blocking me then. Perfect. I happen to have 3 things to tell you, so that's why I decided to text you. 3 things? The first one is that Luke ended up quitting his job, and from there he started his own company, which he is now running as the CEO. That's really great to hear. Now for the second piece of news. I'm pregnant! That is also great to hear. These aren't the kinds of reactions I was hoping to get from you. A little dry, I think. Did you not just hear me say that you're going to have a niece or nephew now? And this means that Mom and Dad will be getting their first grandbaby. You should be way more excited for me. I'm not excited about any of it, but I'll congratulate you. So what's this third piece of news you have? I plan on coming home to Mom and Dad's to have my baby there. What? You're coming back to have your baby at Mom and Dad's? So you're actually coming back? From what Lucas told me, his company is completely based online, which means he can do his work from anywhere in the world. So because of that, us two can go back to Mom and Dad's place. And we're both thinking of living with them long term. 3 years ago, I really thought that you were one hell of a crazy sister. But even now, you're proving to me that you are still freaking crazy. Well, my husband is building this business of his up, so he needs all the money he can get, right? It would be a waste to put our money into our house, so it's much better to just move back home with Mom and Dad. Then we'll have all the money he needs for that company, right? And above saving money, having the baby be around Mom all the time would really help me out a lot. So you plan to have both Mom and Dad be there to help you out? Well, yeah. I'm giving them their first grandbaby after all, and the both of them have always spoiled me with anything I want, and this time I want to be home with them. So you really never came around to realizing just how much trouble you caused for all of us by running away with Luke? I do think it was a bit wrong that I stole your fiancé from you at the time, but you're also to blame for letting me steal him, right? So since you were in the wrong as well, do you mind leaving that house and letting my husband and I move into it with Mom and Dad? Excuse me? I'm pretty sure you're still living there with those two, feeding off all their money, right? After having your fiancé stolen from you, you've continued to be single. I plan on coming back to Mom and Dad and making them happy with their first grandbaby, so the freaking obstacle of a loser needs to get out of there. We had that old house demolished, okay? What? What do you mean their house was demolished? I'm saying that the house has been destroyed and the land sold. Right now, there's no house on that plot of land. Wait a second, what the heck? I never heard anything about that happening. But from what I've heard, it's a realtor company that bought the land and they're going to build a new house on it. Wait a sec. So you're telling me Mom and Dad's house isn't there anymore? Where the heck am I supposed to go home to now? Actually, where are Mom and Dad right now? Tell me where they went. Dad ended up retiring from his job a little early last year, and with the money from that and from the land he sold, he took Mom with him and moved overseas. I think Thailand? They moved to Thailand? Those two have always loved the ocean. So they bought a really cheap house out by the ocean in Thailand and have been living there. Every week, those two are sending me pictures of the new life they both have there, and man, does it look awesome. Those two are really happy now. What the heck? I can't just get up and go overseas to be with them. Then, where the heck are you? Weren't you living off Mom and Dad at their house all by your lonesome? I'd never been living off of Mom and Dad while I was in their house. I just happened to work for a company that was close to that old house, so they let me stay with them for a while as I worked. I had planned to move out of their place for good 3 years ago and stay in that apartment with Luke, but, well, we both know what happened there. As of right now, I'm living with my new husband. You got married? You, my older sister, got married? And I hear you going on about how you're giving Mom and Dad their first grandbaby, but I had my first child last year. So Mom and Dad already have a grandbaby now. You had a baby? You're lying, right? I mean, you lost your fiancé 3 years ago. 3 years. It's only been 3 years since you were thrown away by Luke. And people are always saying that one man's trash is another man's treasure. Now, I'm not saying that the person who threw me away before was anything like a man, but after having been thrown away, I went with Mom and Dad to go see the man that was set up to go out with you. We wanted to say sorry for you being a no-show, but after we did that, we decided to sit down with him and have a chat while having lunch together. Don't tell me you're with that ugly fatty. Did you actually marry a freak like that? I don't care that you got thrown away by Luke. You shouldn't go out with something like that after. But you had recommended to me that I go out with him after you said you stole Luke from me. Well, I'm just going to show you what he looks like now to clear this air. Who is that? That happens to be my husband holding our son. No freaking way! That guy looks nothing like that fat loser in those pictures I was shown. Had I known Dad set me up with a man like that, I would have never canceled on him. He's perfect for me. He happened to get some work done on himself, as well as get some skincare therapy. Also, at the time he was planning on going out with you, he had a lot of stress in his life. But now he's a completely new-looking man. After he had finished up all his treatments and therapy, he and I got married, where I've now been treating him to all kinds of healthy foods. Looking at him now, you would never be able to tell he was that man from 3 years ago. But he didn't even stop after all those treatments. Do you want to know why he put on so much muscle? Right after telling him that I was pregnant, he told me he wanted his son to look just as good as him, but didn't think he would be able to get his son to be active and healthy. So he started going to the gym 6 days a week and turned himself into a macho man in order to influence our baby. He is a wonderful husband and father. You're lying. I had thought for sure that he was a nobody, and I thought you having a baby with him would bring the birth of one of the most ugly-looking kids in America. Wait, now that I remember, this is that same guy that you and Dad said were saying has a father that's a CEO? That's right. And as of right now, he's taking on his dad's position now that his dad is retiring. But that's not all. As right after becoming the CEO, he took his dad's company even further and made it an extra $2 billion this year. So, he's not just the son of the CEO that got put into that position, but he actually knows how to run the company? He really does. Where are you living right now, Angel? We're living in a very secure penthouse. A penthouse? I'm going there right now. I'm going to stay there and have the baby at your place. I believe 3 years ago we made the promise to never come around one another again, right? So that's not going to happen. Well, I'm saying it's fine for us to meet now. So let's bring things back to the way they were in the past and live together in peace, okay? All right? I don't think you and I were ever living in peace with one another, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. What? What are you talking about? You and I had some of the best times together as sisters, right? You think so? Even though you would always get away with doing whatever you wanted and then force me to take over for all your responsibilities? Even though you would always take my things from me without asking and then say that I lost them? I have still not forgotten about how back in high school when I graduated, Dad gave me that really nice watch, but right before I was going to wear it, you took it from me and broke it. And back then, I was just a wild young little girl. No, you were way too old by then to be acting like that. You told me after stealing Luke away from me that I should do my best to be happy with whatever man I found, right? Well, look, I've become very happy with my husband, and we have a house and family and everything. You said that we would both work to become happy, and look where we're at. I'm living the best life I can live right now, so you just need to try a little harder to be on my level. Wait, are you not going to help me? You know, I don't have to help you, right? But I was planning on having Mom and Dad be the ones to pay for everything I needed and house us. Right now, we don't have any money in our savings. How about you ask Luke's family to help you out then? His parents only ever had one kid, Luke, so this is going to be their first grandbaby, right? Aren't they going to be so happy to have you both living with them? 3 years ago, both his parents cut ties to us. They were both furious with us over having Luke leave you for me. Luke tried so hard to get them to understand us, but they kept telling us to never come back to them again. We can't ask for their help now. So right now, the only person I can rely on is you, Angel. And you think after what you did to me 3 years ago, you can come back asking me to help? Wild. Well, I'm sorry, but I don't want to deal with you anymore. Now, I'll be praying that you and your husband can make a decent enough family for your soon-to-becoming baby. Goodbye, forever. No way, right? You're really planning on throwing me away like this? Angel!
Please, Angel, do this for the man you first loved and your little sister. Please, help us out. If you don't do anything to help us, then myself and your little sister are going to be left for the streets with nothing we can do. You're living in a penthouse now, right? I hear you got married to a man with lots of money, right? I'm sure you can just give us one room in there where we can stay.
This is strange. I could have sworn somebody had told me 3 years ago that they were throwing me away for my more cute and better little sister. Who could that have been again that told me to never talk to them again?
I know that I really messed up after what happened back then, so let's just let go of all that happened then.
I believe it's me that gets to choose what we just let go and what we hold on to. You have no say in any of that.
Not bothering to help your family out, nor even daring to help your little sister. You're one cold witch, aren't you? I could sue you for this.
I've already gotten a settlement from the both of you for cheating on me. And I also have the evidence of what happened then, as well as audio recordings from when I had you talk to my lawyer. I'm not really sure what you plan to sue me for, but I'm sure the judge won't be having any of it from you. So are you sure you want to try me?
Hey, come now, Angel. It takes a lot of money to get a company up and running, and right now Rebecca and I don't have all that much money.
Well then, how about before you start up a new company, you actually work for all the money that you'll be needing? Isn't it pretty obvious that you're going to need to pay for your living expenses while you're building a company? Now listen here. I have chosen to never talk to either one of you guys again, all right? So I'm going to block the two of you now.
You will not?
My parents are both living overseas now in Thailand. And as for the penthouse we're living in, it is very secure and managed by a private security company. I'm thinking it won't be all too easy for either one of you to get to us. So if you are planning to be a couple of pests for me, then I'll be more than happy to take you both to court and sue. Please remember that.
Let's just both calm down and talk this out in person. I will literally come to you and get on my hands and knees apologizing for what happened 3 years ago. You're the only person that can help us.
You had told me that you would be able to do everything on your own back when you said for me to never come around you both again. So please, be a man of your word and go away. Now go enjoy that life you have with my little sister some more. After that, I went ahead and blocked those two's numbers. And then, when those two learned that I really did mean that I'd be blocking them, they went back to Luke's parents, begging them to let them in. And somehow it seemed to work, and those two were allowed to live with his parents. But the only condition was that they both had to pay to stay with them, so the life of being cared for by someone else never actually came after the move-in. And this was when Luke realized that he was never going to get his company to take off. So he gave up on it and started looking for a job again. As for Rebecca, she started to work at a supermarket close to Luke's parents' house. I know that I said I'd never be around those two ever again and that they'd never be allowed around me, but I happen to stay good friends with Luke's mom for the past 3 years. So when anything happens regarding those two, I hear about it through her while we're getting coffee together.
Thank you for watching all the way until the end. If you felt good after watching this video, please like the video. If not, please leave a comment and give us your feedback. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Your comments and likes help this channel grow. We hope you enjoy our other stories as well.